Hi, my name's Ruan and this is my channel, The Yorkshire Sew Girl. How are we all today? Hope you're really well. It is November, the end of. It's actually December this week and it's scaring me a little bit because it's going to be Vlogmas time. I just don't feel ready. I don't feel ready at all. I'm not as organised as I normally am at this time of year. At work, I was kind of saying, why is there Christmas songs on the radio? And the girls were like, well, because it's kind of December this week. And I was like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. So I'm all a dither. But I will be here for Vlogmas, don't you worry. I'm just going to have to work myself up to it. This will probably be my last video before I start doing Vlogmas as well. So, yeah, you'll have had enough of me by then. So. But I wanted to come to you today because it's freezing cold out there. When I went and took the kids to school this morning, I had to sit and defrost my car. So here in the UK, it's getting the chill coming. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be heading for a little bit of snow as well, apparently, at the end of this week. So it's a little bit crazy. But I can't complain today because the sun's shining. So, you know, it is what it is. We're coming into December. It's going to be Christmas soon. But yeah, I thought what better thing to discuss today than sewing patterns that are coats, because obviously for us here in the UK it is getting to that time and we want to wear nice coats, don't we? But I've kind of looked at some patterns recently that are a little bit different. So they're not your kind of standard, you know, your bog standard kind of coats. They've all got a little bit of difference to them. So I thought it'd be quite interesting for me to talk those through with you today, see if it gives you any inspiration. And there's one coat in this group of coats that I'm going to discuss that I really want to make. I am making the Nova coat this year, though. I do try to make a coat each year. So this will have to be next year's one, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below as to which one of these 6 patterns you think I would really like to make. Shall we get cracking anyway? Shall we start with number 1? I have got notes again written down here. I know, I'm a new woman, so we'll be reading from them, so just bear with me. But number 1 is by Trend Patterns and it's the TPC 28, which is a beautiful oversized coat. Now, I have seen this a few times and I've seen a few people make it, and every time I've seen it on Instagram, I've gasped. Look at that coat, it's amazing. So this is kind of top of my list as well as other ones. You know, we have this massive list, don't we, of fabrics and patterns that we want to make that we just never get around to doing, but you know. So it says the latest pattern in the Trend Patterns range is the Ultimate Winter Coat. The design is closely based on a Prada coat from their Autumn Winter 21 collection. The oversized coat's focal feature is the beautifully shaped, puffed bracelet length sleeve with a deep cuff. The overall silhouette of the coat is wide and boxy with a drop shoulder and it's fully lined. I think if you're going to make this coat, it's going to be dramatic. It needs to be a statement coat. It needs to be in a really nice, beautiful, bold colour. Do you hear what I'm saying? I mean, you could make it in a duller colour or a black, something like that. Classic black would be beautiful, but I see this in like a bright green, a bright pink, that type of thing, you know, where it's a real standout coat. But I like it because it's got, I love a drop shoulder, but it's just the sleeves on this. I mean, look at those poofy sleeves and the little cuffs. I will be putting pictures in it as well so that you can have a look at this as I'm discussing it. Discussing it, that's what I meant. It says the desired fabric weight is medium to heavy weight, but don't choose anything too thick because the layers on the sleeve tucks become too thick. So that'll be where you actually, here it's going in, isn't it, to a massive cuff, and you've got a lot of poofiness, technical term, poofiness here to actually then pull into a really tight cuff. So what I do like about this is it does have that tight cuff. Some of the patterns that I show you, they've got quite an open cuff, and obviously when it's cold outside, sometimes I want like a tight cuff as well. So that's what I do like about this this pattern, and it's fully lined as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a stunner, this one. It says the pattern's rated as moderate to difficult, and obviously, you know, sewing a coat pattern's not the easiest because you've got a lot of fabric, if nothing else, to be dragging through your machine, and usually you are using quite thick fabrics as well. Apparently as well, the oversized coat has a lot of hand sewing to complete the overall construction, and attaching the lining can be tricky for some with less experience in sewing. And they wouldn't recommend making the coat without a lining either. So it is a bit of work, this coat, but I think you'll agree that it would be absolutely worth it in the long run. So it goes from sizes 6 to 22, so not the most size inclusive, this one. Bust of 31.5 to 47.5, a waist of 24.5 to 41.5, and hips of 35 to 50. But I did just want to point out that obviously on the bust, it goes up to 47.3, but the finished measurements for the bust is 61.5 inches as well. So there's a lot of ease in that. So I do think if you were kind of just off the scale of what these sizes are, then you'll be all right, because there's so much ease in it. That was number one. Number two is a simplicity pattern, and they do this in two sizes, so it's got two codes. It's the 9865 and the 98, no it's not, it's the 9, yeah, did I say that? 9685. What's wrong with me? And the 9686. There's two size ranges in this, which is always really good. And it says, it's very, very brief, the description that they put on the internet for simplicity patterns. Simplicity sewing pattern for lined coat and jacket features attached scarf and has button front closure and pockets. Coat comes in two lengths. View C is a short jacket. Okay, there's no, you know, spiel about how beautiful this coat is, but I think the reason I popped this on here, I think you'll agree, is because it's actually got a scarf attached to it. I've not seen that before. Correct me if I'm wrong, I might have been looking in all the wrong places, but it's actually got a big scarf that's attached to the coat, which I think is amazing. So you can have it open if you don't want to have it tied around your neck and you're getting a bit hot and flustered, you know, when you come into that time of life. Or you can, yeah, have it wrapped around you if you're absolutely freezing and you're off watching your kids play rugby on a Sunday. Yeah, but the other thing that I like about this is the sleeves on this one. It's got like, or is it a different sleeve? Do you know, now I'm looking at it, I actually don't know if it is a different sleeve or not, if it's just a sleeve with the scarf hanging down. When I was looking at it and researching it, I was like, oh, look at that, it's got a second sleeve. I don't think it does. I think it is just on the line drawings, you can see the scarf actually coming down the edge of the sleeve. I think that's what that is. It's not a different sleeve whatsoever. But anyway, so it's got buttons down the front. It's also got pockets as well, and you can do it in 3 different lengths. It's showing on the diagram. So you've got the really long length, which on the model you can see is right the way down to past her knees, and then you've got a mid length, and then you've got a short jacket as well. So a few options on this one. Now, if you don't like scarves, this probably ain't going to be your baby, but I just love the fact that it's actually attached. You can wrap it around your neck. You won't be forgetting your scarf when you go out anywhere. So suggested fabrics are lightweight wools, denims, boiled wool, fleece, linens, that type of thing. And it goes from sizes 4 to 32. Now they're US sizes, so I think from a UK perspective that would be 8 to 36. I think that's right. Which is a bust of 27.5 to 60. A waist of 22 to 54.5 and hips of 31.5 to 62. So really good size range there as well, but you do have to make sure if you are going to order this pattern, I'll pop both patterns down below because they do have 2 different numbers, because one's the smaller size range and one's the larger size range. So do make sure if you're ordering that you get the right one. But I love that pattern. I just think it's a little bit different anyway. Pattern number 3 is from Fibre. Now, when this came out, I can't remember which release it was for Fibre, but I loved this pattern. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that coat's nice, because it's a little bit different. Now, this is called the Carman coat, and it's like a classic coat, but with a little bit of difference. You know what I'm saying? So if you can see from the pictures, I will try and pop some in. It has a couple of really nice features, and I'll read what it says. It says, winter is when we love to turn up the cosy and make everything nice and toasty. Yes, we do. Carmen is a minimalist lined winter coat with a collar and gorgeous lapels. The subtly shaped sleeves are the showstoppers on this long coat. Concealed press studs and the quirky tie detail complete the look. We're willing to bet that this is going to be your new feel-good coat. Now, what I love about this is the sleeves. If you can see them, I know it's saying it's showstopper, but I just love how different the sleeves of this are. And also, it's kind of almost like a wrap coat, but instead of having a belt, you kind of tie it, which I'm kind of thinking it would look really nice. So It's got obviously a big collar as well. So yeah, very classic, but with a twist. You know what I'm saying? It says Carmen can be made in all kinds of coat fabrics. We're a fan of woolen fabrics since they'll keep you nice and toasty in the winter. Make Carmen in a solid for a classy look, or if you're feeling daring, go for a boucle or a plush long-haired faux fur instead. Oh, intent on being on trend, checked fabric or an animal print should be your go-to. It's like they're talking to me. Animal print should be your go-to. What I think I would love to see this coat in though is like a dog tooth pattern, a classic black and white or like a grey and black. I think it would look absolutely stunning and go with anything really, because it'd be the classic monochrome look. But yeah, I love everything about this, and they're very size inclusive too. Their size range is 4 to 32 in UK, which is a bust of 30 to 57.5, a waist of 26 to 52.5, and hips of 34 to 57. So that's 3 cuts so far. Have any of them tickled your fancy? I want to make all of them, by the way, so you know what I'm like. This will be me for the next 6 years then, if I'm going to make 1 coat a year, won't it? Right, before I move on to number 4, I just want to chat to you a little bit about my light. Okay, so I've switched positions a little bit so you can see my baby in a bit more detail. Now you probably see this in the background of all my vlogs because it permanently sits here, and I have one of these that goes onto my overlocker and one that goes onto my sewing machine. This is a high definition light, which means it's got daylight wavelength technology, which means that it basically replicates sunshine, which I think we all need, don't we, in November? I don't know about you, but it's dark before I even come home from work at the moment, so it's a little bit depressing. So being able to use this has been fantastic for me because I don't feel like I'm straining my eyes at all when I'm sewing. Now, I know I go on about these lights a lot, but I do truly believe in them, that's why. Now, mine is a heavy duty base, but you can get a lightweight one as well. But even though mine's a heavy one, I do tend to take this downstairs when I'm also doing my cross stitch. So I sit on one sofa, husband sits on another. You know, it's one of those relationships. And I use this because in my living room, I've got 3 lamps, believe it or not, but they're all like, you know, the yellow type of light, and it's not very good. I found myself kind of not really understanding what I'm doing when I'm doing my cross stitch. So I've been taking this downstairs because I can also position this really well onto my actual cross stitch without actually glaring in my husband's eyes. So I've been using this for my cross stitch, and obviously it's got like a dimming switch on the back, so you can move it up or down. And then this also controls kind of the width of your light. So if I want to just go onto a small part, I can make the beam go in a more focused manner, or I can open it up as well. So yeah, obviously, I'm not going to go on about it too much, but I absolutely love my light. There is another offer code for this month as well if you're wanting to treat yourself. I do understand that it's a very expensive product because there's a lot of technology involved in this lamp, but I do have an offer code for you to get £100 off and free delivery if you so wish. And the offer code is SR504. I'll pop the link in the description box below, and also the code for you to be able to use so that you don't have to remember it. And I hope that you do enjoy this as much as mine if you do invest in one. Okay, let's get cracking with number 4. This pattern is beautiful. This is from So La Di Da, and it's called the Rocksteady coat, and I've seen this quite a bit over the last couple of years, and it's just dreamy. It's just a little bit different again. What it says, it's called the definition of rocksteady: consistent in performance or behaviour, dependable, steady going. A shooting star is a small piece of rock, yet it shines bright like a diamond. Simple to sew coat, as solid as a rock. This design will never date, wrap you up in comfort, and still you will be fabulous and glamorous. Style over fashion, make her with a plain sleeve or add a band of pleather, leather, or indeed velvet. And it says, make in a day. Yes, really, we mean it. Designed for boiled wool, channel your inner frock star. Beware, this coat is guaranteed to create attention. I mean, again, it's as if it's written for me. I love this coat. What a beautiful classic coat. But then the sleeve detail is just amazing. So obviously on some of the pictures, you'll see that they've used pleather for the sections in the sleeves. And I just think it elevates this coat. I've got a feeling like if you wore this coat out somewhere, somebody would be like, oh, where did you get that coat from? It's gorgeous. And I haven't seen this sort of thing anywhere else. I haven't seen it on the high street or anything like that. So it'd be truly unique as well. And I really, really like the charcoal version of this with the silver sleeve elements as well. I just think it takes it up that notch. But what I did like as well when I was looking through this is it talks about velvet as well. I think that would be quite nice for Christmas. You know, like if you had a black coat in wool and then you just had little sections in black velvet. Be chef's kisses, wouldn't it? And it would go with anything. So I mean, obviously you don't have to put pleather or velvet or anything else in those bits on the arm. I mean, you might come up with a different fabric that you want to use. You could just do it all in the boiled wool. So the boiled wool, that's probably the reason why you can make it in a day, because when you're using boiled wool, you don't have to finish your seams. I don't think this coat is lined, so you know, Bob's your uncle, pet as your aunt, bish bash bosh, if you needed to do one quickly. The only thing is it probably would cost you a bit of money, this coat, because boiled wool isn't the cheapest, is it? Well, not if you get good quality boiled wool. But I do think this is something that would be used year after year after year after year, because you could dress it up or down as well. Yeah, it's a beauty. It comes in sizes S to XL. Now, this isn't very size inclusive, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I'm kind of on the cusp of some of this. So it's a bust of 36 to 46, a waist of 29 to 39, and a hips of 39 to 49. So not the biggest size range on that. And I hope they are going to do something about that. I might even drop them an email just to kind of understand whether they are looking at extending that at all. We shall see. Okay, another Fibre Mood pattern. Now, Fibre Mood had quite a lot of coat patterns with a bit of difference. But this one is one that just struck me straight away because it's a trench coat, and it's called their Drea. I think it's Drea or Drea trench coat. Now, trench coats are just a classic, aren't they? You know, they're the sort of thing that you can throw on when you're doing a school run, or you can throw it on to look a bit fancy if you've got some nice high heel shoes on. But what drew me to this was the version that they'd made, because it was in denim. And I was like, that is absolutely stunning. I don't think I've seen a denim trench coat anywhere. Now, you could probably do any trench coat, to be fair, in like a denim. But I wanted to just showcase this one as well because it has some really nice features on it. So it's got a bell, it's got some really nice, beautiful pockets as well at the front. And then poppers that looks like when you've got your little trench coat flaps here that they'll actually pop down as well. I just thought the images of this were like, I absolutely love them. Let's discuss what it talks about. So it says, singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. I was going to sing to you then, but I don't think you need to hear that. Drea makes every dreary day better. But first, some puzzling and patience await you. There's a reason it's a coat worthy of Sherlock Holmes. It does have Sherlock Holmes vibes, doesn't it? And admit it, a trench coat of your own looks really nice on your Sewista CV. Here we go. Storm flaps in front and back, belted waist, collar and lapels, graceful black back split and patch pockets. You can do this. So there's a lot involved in this. I don't know if you've seen, but some trench coats only have the storm flap on one side at the front. Sometimes they don't have the big one at the back. You can see from the pictures of this how beautiful it looks. This one's got a gorgeous belt as well. It's just, I just loves it. I loves it, it does. Fabric advice. A slightly stiffer fabric gives the best results. Go classic British with gabardine or twill cotton, or for a contemporary metamorphosis, choose nylon or denim. Yes, please. This denim coat is just everything. And this again is sizes 4 to 32 in the UK, which is a bust of 30 to 57.5, a waist of 26 to 52.5, and a hips of 34 to 57. So really good size inclusive pattern there as well. And breathe, Ruan. We're on to the last one, guys. We've made it. Pattern number 6 is from How to Do Fashion, and this is the number 22 Tangier coat. And I picked this because I thought this was a really nice classic coat that was quite smart, but with a little twist, you know? So it says on here, the brave women of the 1960s are the inspiration for this coat. The shape is graphic yet feminine, and the minimum of cut lines gives this style a modern but classic look. A classic coat with a clean and classic cut. The coat has a yoke on the back, pockets in the front side seam, and a beautiful collar. It has 2 versions, one straight sleeves and one with dramatic fluted sleeves, panelled at front and has bust darts, so nicely shaped. It's the sleeves, I think, that drew me to this pattern. I was just like, ooh, look at that. So you don't have to go for the dramatic sleeves if you don't want. If you just wanted that really nice classic coat, then you could go for it. And you can definitely see the 1960s inspired look here, can't you? But those sleeves. And if you see on some of the pictures, it's slightly shorter than some coats would be. And I just think, being able to see your little wrist and everything, it's just so feminine and beautiful and lovely, but classic at the same time. So yeah, you don't have to go for those sleeves. You could just go for a standard coat. Again, it would look beautiful. I think this would be really nice, you know, if you're going on your Christmas do and you needed to get out the taxi and walk to the venue and it was freezing cold and you came out and you had that on. Woo! But I think because it's got really simple lines as well, you could use a patterned wool, which would look really, really stunning as well. And I like the fact that it has actually got pockets as well, but they are concealed in the side seams. So it's a very sleek and slim silhouette, but it like kind of goes out on an A-line shape as well. It's just really pretty, isn't it? It's just beautiful. So I think that's a really nice one for like a little classic, but I don't think you'd be able to dress that down very much. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be kind of out there. Now it says medium to heavyweight woven fabrics like wool, linen or heavy silk. Ooh, can you imagine this in like a beautiful metallic jacquard fabric? All these ideas are springing to my mind now, even though I've been looking at these for ages. This comes in sizes 4 to 26, so it's a bust of 31.5 to 54.3, a waist of 24.5 to 47.2, and a hips of 35.4 to 58.5. So a pretty good size range there as well. What do we think? 6 patterns, coat patterns that are just a little bit different, that might get you a little bit noticed, you know, when you're going out. People are like, oh, I love your coat, and you go, thanks, I made it. Or if you're like me, like, thanks, I made it. Yeah, I'm a bit embarrassed by saying it. Why? I don't know. I should be shouting from the rooftops if I made a coat, to be honest. Have you made a coat? I've made coats before. Have you made a lined coat? I've made unlined. I've made lined. There's something about a lined coat, though, that's like the magic happens when you start pulling it all through and then your coat appears and you've got lining inside and you're like, I've just done that. I've just made that. Now, like I say, I am going to be making my Nova coat as well soon, so that is in my plans for December. Let me know down below if you've made any of these coats specifically, or if there's any cut that's kind of, you've got your eyes on this Christmas time, because I'd love to know, and it'd be great for everybody else to share their ideas as well in the comment section down below. I hope you're all right. I hope you've enjoyed some coat inspiration, and I'll see you again for Vlogmas very soon. Take care. Bye.